Summer?
Yeah, exactly. They have like the water theme last year was really sick, and this one's it's supposed to be a green.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Radiant team pick.
Lion. Terror blade.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
Abyssal Underlord.
Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Razor.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Earth Shaker.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Night Stalker.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team back.
Venomancer.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Shadow Fiend.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Choose your hero.
Hero over Centaur.
It actually can be pretty pressure. Vena is quite weak because they figured Vena is going to be Darkseer has the
That's true.
counteract the kill,
Yeah.
and then you can just keep running at Vena.
Alright. Is it enough? Are you going for VGJ.Thunder for this first game?
Haven't seen Darkseer for some time though, but I really like how they finish Darkseer. Then they have a hero that can buy all the team items.
They
can
desperately
group up.
need a pipe.
Yeah, they group up and they push Terrorblade. I'm going with VGJ.Thunder here.
Alright, I'm
10
going for
seconds
OpTic. What will that
remaining.
Tsunami think? Because I don't believe in the Darkseer,
5
and
seconds remaining.
I think that OpTic have a plan. Very clearly. And VGJ.Thunder is just trying to figure out what that plan is and didn't actually come up with a plan for themselves.
Yeah.
So
What
that's
an
my
assumption,
I
Shiva.
think Venomancer has a plan. And that's my whole thing is resting on OpTic Gaming's Venomancer because that is a very creative pick, and Darkseer does seem like a panic option.
Alright, so you're going for OpTic as well then. Alright, well let's find out what's going to happen. It's a best of 5, so both teams will get all the chances they need to try and get this to a happy end. Let's head over to Lyrical and Gods for the cast.
Thank you so much, Sheever. Gods, there's a little purple man in our grand finals here.
Who is this hero?
I don't know.
What's happening?
But yeah, it's going to be a Darkseer running in there with a position 4 Night Stalker now as well. Do you like it?
I think Winter's kind of on point there. The Surge very good against Venomancer. I think that's a big part of why they picked the hero. Centaur, the other one, floated around, has the Stampede. So it's kind of like the substitute Underlord, you know,
Okay.
the hero to buy all the team items, the pipe, the Crimson Guard, whatever you need. Darkseer's your man. He's going to make sure that there's a hero with farm that can buy utility items.
All right, so we got the old school versus the new school, as it is also going to be a Underlord picked up for the wonderful folks over on OpTic Gaming. I'm really excited about this one. I think that it's going to be a series also that's probably going to go, if not the distance, at least 4 games.
Yeah, coming into today, all 4 teams really felt like anyone could break out on top. There wasn't a clear favorite. VGJ.Thunder, the team with the most DPC points, but haven't looked really dominant or particularly consistent since their second place at Bucharest Majors, so they're back in form. OpTic, though, they've been on the up and up for some time, just seem to just keep on improving. So I think we're in for a great series here.
Absolutely. Well, getting ready to hop into this one. Again, a best of 5, as was mentioned on the panel. And the other thing to talk about is, again, Terrorblade, Venomancer, a little bit of a different type of hero. How do those two match up against each other? It feels slightly strange.
As far as Venom versus Terrorblade goes,
Yeah.
I think the nice thing is you've got this nice mix of damage where Venom is very kind of that magic damage-based carry. He's going to be just playing around like utility of all of his slows as well as the vision that he gets from the Plague Wards, making it very hard for this Night Stalker to be effective. I think it's much more about the SF versus the Terrorblade. SF is the kind of true carry for the OpTic side. That's the hero that's going to scale a lot better with farm and items. OpTic wants CNC to have a good game this game, not Pycat. They kind of switch between the two, like CNC sometimes plays Lina, then other times he's on Dragon Knight. So this is one of those games where they want him to have a fun time.
Absolutely. I'm really curious if he's going to be going for the physical build or going for the sort of changed up caster build. We saw the one from Iceberg that was there for a little while ago, and then a little bit later on today, I think it was Abed maybe that had it,
Yep.
and he made a couple little modifications as well, but time will tell as we hop into this game number 1. Wards placed down, got one mid. Looks like also OpTic were placing one by their rune spot in the top jungle. So they'll have vision of that area.
Should be 2 runes apiece if OpTic want to venture south to grab this other bounty rune, but they actually don't feel too safe doing so. Zayas contested, so top lane where the fight may break out.
Yang there, they do get double galed, gonna get punched in the back. He doesn't have Surge right now, taking a lot of harassment along the way, and they're actually gonna focus now on to Fade and bring these guys low, but Darkseer naturally very much there with his regen mangoes. He's all good.
Yep. They'll get 3 runes on the VGJ side out of it, taking a bit of damage. Level 1 Fade Bolt from PPD, nothing too crazy there. The big thing was there was a pull camp being blocked. So the pull camp up top for OpTic Gaming, not going to be accessible for them unless Peter actually dewards it with the sentry that he's got.
something else. They did change around a lot of the way that works and everything else. How much did that really affect Darkseer, do you think?
Probably makes him a little bit more viable, having a bit more mana and mana regen.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out for him, but maybe this is a hero that often had a lot of mana problems, and we're going to see him in a much better place because of all the mana regen that he's getting at level 1.
Glyph used there as well on the Radiant, I guess just to try and deny out a couple of CS.
Yeah, we're seeing this, I think, more and more. Glyphs in the first minute just to prevent a last hit or two, and when creeps under tower just to be annoying.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
OpTic still having a nice little time, and to me at least, whenever I see Darkseer, there's the strength of being able to run at people when you have +1, but that usually takes a couple of levels to get online.
Yes, level 2 Iron Shell gets, I'd say, kind of the strongest as far as the laning stage goes. That's where you can really start applying a lot of pressure. Rubik pretty good against that because you have got telekinesis, so if that hero gets too close, you can lift him into the tower. And you can also just lift them away from you if you need to. So I do like what OpTic have against the pressure lane up top. I don't really feel like Pycat and PPD are going to be at too much risk of dying. The problem is they can't really contest the farm. You can see on the CS right now, all 3 cores for VGJ.Thunder should be getting decent farm, and they are. May get a bit harder in the mid lane for Sylar. The TB versus SF matchup is SF favored once SF gets some souls and levels, as we've seen so far with Metamorph. Sylar having a great time outlast hitting CCNC.
Definitely. And this, of course, that first Metamorphosis used. So this is going to be the time where CCNC tries to catch up a little bit. 11-4 right now on the Terrorblade versus the 6-0. Also saw a little bit of a skirmish up there top, and they're also stacking up the camp. So Darkseer eventually going to try and build into those points in Ion Shell, and then he'll be able to go over and steal that one away from the OpTic Gaming team.
Yep. If OpTic can do anything about that, but Darkseer is the hero that's going to be a bit too strong around that 5 to 7 minute stage when it's nighttime as well to really prevent it from happening.
Well, down bottom lane, they're stealing away a lot of damage right here from 3-3, and he's in some trouble. They're going to try and chase this guy down, and pretty sure he is dead unless he can manage to juke his way out of this, but this is such a hard juke to make it happen. Yeah, he's just gone.
Yep. Had the vision with the plasma field guaranteeing no.
Sylar, mid lane though, he's going to drop as well. CCNC, one more hit. Is it going to be enough? It is. That's
really
a big
gank. Yeah, great fissure placement, it looked like, from Zyza. Shaker securing that kill. CCNC getting the last hit for it. So definitely the kill potential slightly favoring OpTic as far as the mid lane goes, particularly whenever there's no meta, there's 0 kill potential for the TB. But just the Night Stalker is a hero that's kind of forced to just sit in lane. This is not really a roaming hero until that first nighttime, and even then you've only got the perhaps level 2, maybe he gets up to level 3. So the Shaker fissure block with triple raises is very scary for Sylar to play against.
Yeah, and there isn't really a hero that can rotate over and make a difference. Like Lion can, but only if they're not fully blocked in by the fissure. And Fade is going to rotate towards mid now, spots out Zai here.
Yep.
It's about to hit that 4-minute mark.
TB, when he TPs in, instantly gets double raise, so that's already gets him down to half health, forces him to chew through some tangos. Going to be the story of this mid lane for TB, is just trying to sustain against the harass from SF. He does have a level advantage, he's half a level ahead of Shadow Fiend on Terrorblade, which means that those level 3 raises just coming a little bit later, giving Sylar some breathing room to get some decent farm, and he's got the raindrops out to help him a bit as well.
Following the eyes right now onto Fade as he is coming back towards mid again, and well, it's a tough one to make happen, but with Lion rotating over as well, maybe they can find an opening here onto CCNC or Shaker. Also in the area as they're going to try and turn this one back around. Zai looking for a turnaround, and they are going to be able to find the Hex, but they can't dive for him. Good recognition.
Yeah, Peter even tipping in to make sure things go okay, and if they stuck around, they get lifted into the tower there. Really good fissure placement, put the TB on the other side of it so that he couldn't chase. So even though Lion had a follow-up Hex, there was no real way for TB to dish out any additional damage and settle down, as it looks like. Shrine's coming up means there's that kind of extra boost. CCNC seems to be falling back and going to use his Shrine, mostly for the mana here. If he can maintain mana, he can constantly harass this TB out of lane, and Metamorphosis is going to be down, so Sylar may be pressured back into the jungle if he wants to keep on farming.
Well, so far so good for VGJ.Thunder, 1,000 gold up, and you take a look at the CS across the board, they're having a great old time. It was that one kill mid onto the Terrorblade, but besides that, he's kind of just been owning as Zai is going to get ran down here a little bit by Fade. That's Iron Shell damage. Won't decide to chase any further.
Recognizing Fisher could have preventing any further chase. Bottom lane, Underlord's still getting at least enough to be pretty happy with his start. Feels like this lead is a pretty small one for Thunder. I think going to be reasonably happy that it's nothing more, considering Thunder were the ones who were pressuring the lanes. They had the dual lane up top. Earthshaker, he's kind of a defensive support, did set up a kill, but isn't really a lane dominated by any means. So it is Thunder who, on paper, should have come out on top of the lanes.
All right, well, in the more macro sense of this game, we're looking at, you know, well, we might have to hold that thought. As top lane, it looks like they're trying to make something happen. As Zai throws out the fissure. Fade blocked off, but they're also going to try and dive for this kill onto the Earthshaker. Ion Shell is there. Little jump move and is able to just TP away.
Nightcat not able to stop anything from happening as far as the aggression goes. He's looking for the kill on the Darkseer now.
Yeah, they get the surge, but they also get the lift. He's going to run out of this one very shortly, and with the right clicks coming through as well as the fissure, Yang is going to drop.
Importantly, not denied. DDC TPing in there. Perhaps his first thought was, let's help my buddy, but his second one would be, let's deny him if he is going to go down. He ends up in the top lane. Not that it matters. Razor is free farming away and will continue to do so even with the Lion gone. Mid lane, CCNC's Arcane Rune helped him get a Terrorblade down to a sliver of health. Unable to get the kill though. But we are starting to see the trouble and woes of poor Mr. Terrorblade. He's even on net worth with the Shadow Fiend despite having that CS advantage. He's just had to chew through more regen. He had to buy raindrops. He lost all 5 of his raindrops already. So
oh, man.
It's a pretty big economic hit to actually sustain yourself in a lane against an SF. So even though you outlast hit him, it's more or less even.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing about this is it feels like with the Earthshaker, well, again, VGJ.Thunder going to go forward here onto this Earthshaker. Zai getting ran down. They have the vacuum pulling him back in, and, well, the Shadow Fiend rotating over. There's the lift up and seeing if they can maybe punish Fade, but another surge. Rotation in from 3-3 as well. A battle brewing in the river. Dealing damage, but not diving for any more.
The Gentleman's Truce to back off and heal to fight another day.
DDC trying to TP out of this one, but they do have the kill, and Fade rotates in onto Pycat as well. He doesn't have Gale for another 4 seconds and pops the sick charge, is trying to run, but now it's daytime, gets the Fairy Fire off. He is going to get the Gale and walk away, going to be able to kite Fade away, and he might turn and kill off this Night Stalker as the right clicks come in. Void barely alive. Pycat trying to hide away. He gets out.
Well played, Mr. Pycat. Really well kited there, using the fog, just making sure he had enough health regen to tank another nuke from the Night Stalker, and also hoping that the Iron Shell would kind of time out in case he did get chased down a bit further.
Lion, you are no demon.
See, not able to follow up that fissure with any razors, but starting to swing back the way of OpTic with the Veno getting a few nice kills. This is a big one if VGJ can get it though.
Yeah, they just used fissure as well. The Sunder comes out, they're trying to chase him down with the Hex, and it looks like CCNC missed uphill. A second one's gonna come out, he's walking away, the secondary fissure is there, and they keep Quinn alive.
Thunder ganks, I love it. Unfortunately for Silo, that uphill miss working against something I feel like not enough TB players do. That Sunder as an offensive ganking tool.
Well, last time that we talked about that, we did see a gank attempt on the Terrorblade almost immediately afterwards. Is that something OpTic might think about doing?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about chain disabling him or playing around the Sunder. It's kind of like that pseudo second life that a TB can have in a gank scenario, so may incentivize him to go for a kill, particularly someone like a Venomancer who has a lot of damage over time.
Down bottom lane, they pick off Freeze. Quick gank with PPD and CCNC. Now trying to pressure the bottom tower. It feels like OpTic's just kind of making a lot of space around the map right now.
Well, yeah, and great moves from CCNC to come bottom at a very unexpected time for this Razor, who is free farming top of the net worth, and being brought down is a nice kill for OpTic, who not only get this kill, but know that they can then do some good tower damage to follow it up.
Hex stolen there by PPD, already level 6 on the Rubik.
He kind of joked in his interview, you know, it's like, I get to get more farm now, at least that last game, and it's the same thing again, you know, this 2-1-2 dual lane laning setup guarantees more experience, more farm for your supports. This Rubik has level 6 already, 10 minutes in. Normally you don't see like level 6 on your 5 position players until 11, 12, 13 minutes, and kind of the old way of playing tri-lanes, because you're tri-lane, you're getting less experience, the tome always goes to the 4 position, so a happy Rubik when you can get your spell steal up this early. And I like that he's level 6 before the Shake. I think his is actually more important here in the early game.
Definitely.
Another left bottom.
Yeah, they're going to go in on the freeze Razor, and he drops. That's what happens just so quickly. And DDC not even able to get the deny off there. So a very quick swing as OpTic start to make a little bit of the action go their way.
Yep. VGJ, quote unquote, won the laning stage with just out-CSing their opponents, having a better laning setup, but OpTic are winning the next stage of the game with better rotations and just better initiations. We're seeing PPD set up numerous kills, comboing with the SF. Same for the Zai Shaker, helping set up many kills, and very good sign for OpTic considering they're getting towers off of this as well. And it's also just like the more important stage where those early game laning stage advantages can very quickly be negated with a kill or two.
And here we see the replay of it as well. The triple raise with the lift coming in from PPD
with the kills.
Easy peasy.
Saving that fade ball.
You gotta do. So tier 1 tower taking their bottom. VGJ.Thunder, like we talked about, it's sort of a lineup that's going to need to come online as the Darkseer gets more and more of these items. Anything else that they're going to try and sort of play their game around?
I think for VGJ.Thunder, it's important to play around the nighttime, of course. The limitations of the Darkseer is that you don't have an amazing initiator this game out of really your 3 or your 4 position, which is normally the case for most lineups. If not, maybe your 5 position, which is what the Lion's supposed to be. We'll see if DDC gets any farming room to get a Blink Dagger, because here someone like a Night Stalker doesn't initiate. You can run in and tank some spells and try and slow someone, but it's not a great initiator. Same thing for a Darkseer, but I think big limitation of VGJ.Thunder that we're going to see cause them problems this game.
Well, there's going to be the Surge, but they pull back in again this Yang Darkseer, and also stealing Surge now as they're going to try and see if they can get this kill, and they will, giving it over to Zai as well.
Zai will have a very fast Blink Dagger this game. Already up to 1400 gold with Arcane Boots. He's hit level 6 now himself as well. Things continue to get better and better for OpTic, who aren't done playing aggressive and making moves. They smoke up on their supports immediately after Shrining. They just keep wanting to fight around their cores. That time it was the Veno, previous times it was the SF, and once again we'll see it around the SF. One lift or fissure block, this Razor's can be done for.
Yeah, and they also had this ward back there as well, so they saw that there are other heroes in the area. The smoke breaks up on the high ground right now. DDC does have level 6, so he does have Finger available if they dive in too deep. Razor gain initiated upon. They're turning it though, trying to take down this SF themselves. They get the Finger off. It's not quite enough. He walked away. CC&C pulled. No, they even canceled the TP. So they managed to take down 2, and bold as brass, they even stick around.
So nicely played. The initiation, they understand exactly how to kill Razor. Fissure lets the Rubik walk in for the lift. SF then going for the raises. He doesn't get all the raises off because of the silence. It was the right idea from Thunder. Throw an Impale from the high ground, try and silence the SF who's going to finish him off. But OpTic just had the numbers. They brought everyone in. They were ready for VGJ.Thunder to make a play around that mid lane because they had 5 heroes, and VGJ.Thunder kind of split around the map. And that's just something you can't afford to be doing. Whew.
Sylar barely there, and showing the strength of that Rubik.
Rubik's been very impactful. I think Peter, known for his more selfless 6th position support play that is often joked about, but we're seeing a flashier side of his support play with these Rubik games.
The adage about old dogs and new tricks, it's happening. 4,000 gold lead right now for OpTic. Zai getting closer and closer to that Blink Dagger as PPD going to wrap around here. It's a big movement here from VGJ, but trying to run into this Venomancer, it's really scary. He's going to drop down a ward. They still get eyes on him. There's the long duration silence. 3-3 moving in. The Pit of Malice is down. Can they blow these heroes up? They take down 1, but the Fissure to follow, and 3-3 trying to walk away. PPD moving in as well. They almost bring down Yang, but not quite within range. Everybody else chasing here. Sylar needs to get out. They're trying to body block with that one as well. DDC moving in. There's the Surge to run, and it looks like VGJ just lose 1 on the way out. Barely.
I mean, they also lost the Night Stalker to the damage over time.
Yeah.
Venomancer taking someone with him from the grave. Very much a kill that they're not going to be too pleased with. The Veno is top of the net worth, but he's not exactly the lone threat this game. He's got carry potential from the SF as well.
Yeah, and they do find DDC as well. The Purge creep into the lift from PPD. And again, this warding, getting down deep vision.
Yep. They may even think it's on that hill by the T1 tower, but Peter managing to sneak his way around the map to get the vision for his team. and they'll be rewarded with a tier 1 tower, something VGJ yet to take. Doesn't even feel like they're pressuring the tier 1s all too much right now. They did dive up top and perhaps were looking to follow it up with a tower, but not the case. 33's got the Helm of the Dominator. I love this item pickup if you have no one else in your team getting it. It's just great auras with attack speed, health regen, and I think the most important thing for Siege Creep, being able to take over these is just such a boost to your pushing power.
They didn't really have... I mean, the Razor in some ways is really good against the Underlord, but you're still going to get a ton of farm on this here and be able to catch up as time goes on. So VGJ.Thunder trying to figure out what they need to do at this point. Is there any sort of a plan B at this stage? Just push out waves?
Yeah, push up creep waves, farm, do what you can. You've got 3 greedy farming cores. You've got no initiation, which often the players smoke up, go for the jump and try and catch your opponents by surprise, but you can't really do that when you don't have a blink jump. Yang perhaps with blink could do a blink vacuum type play. I think they're just really limited by their draft right now to play from behind. They were meant to win the lanes, come out on top, and then snowball from there. OpTic went even enough in the lanes that they could control the mid game.
Well, and right now, VGJ.Thunder do realize that this was going on. There's a ward that just got taken out, and they're sort of huddled together around the mid lane, but they can't really do anything to stop it.
Firestorm just too easy for Roche taking. Very concerning for VGJ, Gabe, and they kind of know it. They are smoking up. I think you don't have that good initiation, well, you still go for that surprise factor of a smoke, hope that you run into someone, get some good wards and vision to play around. OpTic, though, are playing as a 5-man unit. They're walking straight into VGJ smoke with an Invis SF in front as well.
Radiant's middle tower.
And the ward that was planted will see OpTic, but we'll also see there's too many OpTic heroes to fight.
Was that the Blink Dagger done on the Earthshaker as well, I think?
Yeah, he had it at the top fight by the tier 1 tower.
Yeah.
He's also got like half of his 4-star.
Oh my god, this guy is out of control.
Even the Rubik has almost a Yule Scepter. Interesting pickup, not sure what the idea is with the Yules here, but nice, a bit of utility.
3-12, and it's only 17 minutes in. As OpTic Gaming looking to just assert dominance in this game number 1 of a best of 5.
Be seeing the right-click Shadow Theme build that we're perhaps hoping for. Dragonlance in SMY.
Is that the attack speed talent as well?
Yes,
oh.
It is. He's the main Sieger. Venomancer, I think him and Venom can split the load of sieging, but neither is like an amazing Sieger, so they feel like they need more right-click damage. The SF just wants to kind of outrange and stay as far away from the TB Razor as possible, so getting in close for Requiems and Razors maybe not something he really wants to do.
Oh, OpTic, just like we were talking about, starting to siege high ground a little bit, or at least force back VGJ.Thunder make a response to this.
Got what they need with the Venom Plague Wards to slowly chip away at this one. They lost their siege creep, unfortunately, so that'll make this a little bit trickier.
Definitely. They do have a ward, though, OpTic on the other side of it. VGJ.Thunder, they have the Terrorblade out on the other side of the map.
Is dead already.
Bottom lane, it's just about to fall. They don't have an answer for this. They might have to use Surge to back away or possibly go for a chase, but how do you really initiate at this point? The Pit of Malice is down. It's on to 2. They're walking forward. The nice jump, but there's the Echo Slam coming in from Zai. It also blocks off Freeze. He can't get out of this right now. Has to TP away while he's by his tier 3 tower. They do lose the Earthshaker. And they might have to back up now, but OpTic...
Yep. Buyback force, chip away perhaps with the Plague Wards. They really want to get this tier 3 because it allows them to get the shrines, but they can come back with full force. The Shaker is dead, he hasn't got his ultimate. You won't get the tier 3 right now, but it's down deny range, and next time you come along, you'll be able to get it. There's no rush for OpTic is the big thing here. VGJ's weaknesses in their draft will continue to cause them issues when it comes to starting fights and winning team fights, and that's something OpTic can just continue to take advantage of as they kind of regroup, reset, wait out another Roshan if they want, or just go at that bottom lane to finish it off.
Yeah. Well, they do hit a scan now, and VGJ.Thunder, they're aware that there's a hero here, but if they can actually kill him is a completely different question. They have a ward on 3-3 now as well, and yeah, they're going to give up on that idea. It's just a little bit too tough down that under ward.
Yeah, there's just no heroes to really enable the carries of VGJ.Thunder. Both Razor and Terrorblade had a very good laning stage, got decent farm. And then it's like, now what? How do we take towers? How do we take a team fight? And they're these are cores, as all cores are, relying often on supports and offlaners to set up kills for them. They need the control, they need the slows, and something that VGJ just lack right now.
Very tough game for them indeed. It's nighttime, Fade wanting to get aggressive. Probably the only hero that he can even think about doing something to would be the Rubik if left completely alone. But that does not seem entirely likely. As top lane, they're pressuring in, but they've also caught the Darkseer down bottom. Yang trying to run away. Zai, well as PPD in the area, they're going to get the catch with the lift, and now pulling him in a little bit closer. Vacuum only there onto PPD. And they will retreat for the moment.
OpTic wanted to dive too far for it. They are regrouping at bottom, suggesting they want to get this tier 3 tower at least, and also this will force VGJ.Thunder to come defend as 5. You see this Razor split farming top, and you're like, nah, come back. We're going to want to make you earn this one. The wall will be placed to make it a little bit more annoying to press forward. CCNC can still outrange this one a little bit.
Gotta be careful, but the tower is going to fall like you said, and OpTic going to back out, take themselves some shrines. I believe that was out without the Aegis as well.
Yeah, they did that just with the Aegis used up in the last fight. They're going to fall back. The top lane was in a not so optimal place. Same for mid, you know. These two lanes are not really pushed out. The shrines are accessible if they want to kill those. And their item progression is going to get a whole lot faster if they can get those shrines taken out from the map and also limit what VGJ.Thunder can do.
Well, 4-14, 6,000 gold lead. And right now it feels really hard for VGJ.Thunder to leave their base. They did place down a sentry ward right nearby where the Hobbs is placed from OpTic, so that might start to be a idea for VGJ.Thunder, although mid lane again, they gotta be careful here. PPD gonna get the lift up. He steals Ion Shell. They throw him on the other side of the fissure, but they will not decide to initiate there.
The spell steal, back off. A crazy spell doesn't really have any amazing heroes to put it on.
I guess maybe Zai with an initiation or something, but
yeah, a bit more damage coming from a Shaker. Someone like Veno, if he's being ran at by Night Stalker and whatnot, could perhaps benefit from it, but
a lot of creeps mid for 3-3. Got 115 damage on this guy. Beefy.
There's a siege creep back. Perhaps eyeing off his tier 2 tower, not going for the racks at bottom, playing it safe.
The root, it's going to get rooted a second time. He is just dead. They even throw out the ultimate there from Zai.
That's a we're in no rush to end this game kind of Echo Slam. It's like, yeah, we'll just make sure this kill goes our way and then back off, take some shrine, swing bottom lane, push this wave out. Darkseer is dead though, so they may even threaten to chip away at this Rax.
And what do you do at this point if you're VGJ.Thunder? They have no initiation.
Yeah, keep asking that. I'm not sure there's an easy answer. They've got BKBs, so BKBs allow their core to just run it.
Oh my god, and then, well, there's the run in from the other side. They get the Veno ulti out as well. Freeze trying to make something here. Vacuum wall, pushing them back, throwing their own auras at the side of OpTic as 3-3 drops a little bit low, but just pops the mech. They back out. Sylar trying to chase these guys off. He's actually isolated from the rest of his team here, though, and the BKB wearing off. He might be able to find this going to Pycat. Apparently just run at faces.
Yeah, the BKB run strat is working well. You surge your Terrorblade, he charges in, pops BKB, and does as much damage as possible. It was just the Veno though, and it's an expensive hold when Darkseer does buy back, so it's a win for OpTic, and a small one of that. They keep taking these small little victories, which is very much the way you take this game in a safe way. See that Darkseer buyback, you kind of disengage. That was both the 10-second BKBs on Razor and SF being used, and they may now kill the Razor.
Look at this guy, just run right at him, and well, Razor freeze. Is he gonna get away? It looks like he might.
Barely escapes. Well, I think if you're OpTic, you're still feeling very happy about what just happened with those BKBs being used, the buyback, the Roche is respawning sometime in the next 3 minutes, which is where you're going to be eyeing off your next high ground push.
Definitely. And, well, it is going to see in just a second how long it is till Roche respawns, as VGJ still sort of stuck inside their base, making moves every now and then out there along the map, and trying to get some momentum underneath them.
You see PPD ward the lane, which is always important. If you have wards up first, see your opponents put them down, you can understand how to play the game and where the vision is.
Looks like it's going to be a relatively long Roche timer as well, where OpTic are going to have to just farm up around the map, and maybe VGJ.Thunder could go for some type of a smoke play once their lanes are pushed.
Yeah.
Getting closer to maybe items that can allow them to run at people some more with BKBs.
Yeah, their way back into this game is very much, get the Terrorblade, another big item. He's got Butterfly queued up. He needs to do as much damage as possible during that BKB duration. For OpTic, I think you're starting to consider how do we disengage when those BKBs are popped. Items like Force Staff, picked up on Earthshaker as well as the Hurricane Pike on Veno.
Radiant's top
Not
shrine.
sure about this Yules. I don't really feel like it's done much for PPD, but
I guess just also Dark Rift levels and getting tanky items for his team so he can get out of there if they need to.
yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. The Crimson Guard is actually a big game changer for OpTic. That's going to heavily reduce the TB's damage output in these fights.
Radiant's top shrine has fallen.
So they have a Frost
Radiant's top
Ogre
tower is
creep,
under attack.
or at least they did.
Yeah. So we're using that for the high ground push earlier in the bottom lane.
Down bottom lane, there is the Darkseer as well as the Razor. I guess the other thing that we could think about maybe is like Lion getting towards some farm himself, but that's also not the easiest thing in the world.
This Lion Blink just feels like a must-have this game. I almost feel like the Night Stalker should be buying the wards at this point and giving DDC a chance to finish a Blink Dagger so you can actually jump in. That DDC has to rely entirely on positioning, which is, you know, sometimes there is no right positioning. If you're too far back, you don't get to insta-hex like a you want to insta-hex Shaker when he blinks in after the Echo Slam. Or if you're too close, you die without getting off spells. So perfect positioning is kind of this concept, which sometimes some fights there just is no positioning that's going to work for you. That's where the Blink Daggers are. You can stay far enough back that you don't get caught by spells or blown up, but then you can instantly be in the fight when the time is right.
I mean, and it can work sometimes too if you maintain vision outside of the base and then you can like precast a hex or something like that. But, well, it's a smoke up right now.
Yeah.
VGJ.Thunder, they're walking forward there, right into side as you walk up on high ground, looking for an opening maybe. The BKB is out from Freeze. CCNC ultimate, not really doing that much, and now they're just going to Dark Rift away. So OpTic holding hands as they walk away from the bank.
BKB for BKB. Can VGJ get roast? They've got some damage on Razor here, which will linger for a little bit longer, but it hasn't respawned. I think they may have actually considered it with the Metamorphosis there and the stolen damage, but no Rosh available. Both teams smoking up around what they thought was going to be a big Roshan standoff. VGJ.Thunder wanting to contest it, OpTic wanting to secure it, and OpTic immediately go back into another smoke. They know that this Rosh is the one that can decide the outcome of this game. I would expect them very much play around this. If they're going to go right in, the smoke going to set things up here. They want to go in undetected. 2 Radiant wards in the mid lane. They were just so desperate to have vision. That was the big fight. You just want that ward on the high ground. Instantly scout it, and they've got another smoke. They're headed straight to the pit. They're going to bypass these observer wards and possibly catch OpTic by surprise.
If they reveal themselves, though, in any type of way, it's going to be a big initiation coming in from Zai. They have eyes on him right now. The vacuum, the wall, they catch him on the side. Great play there from the Darkseer, keeping the rest of them out of the fight. Zai could go for another initiation, but the BKBs are out as well. Veno ulti comes out. Pandam is already dead as CCNC getting chased down here. They force them away.
Razor couldn't chase because of some of the illusions blocked, but I think for VGJ, you're happy he can fall back and secure Roche. OpTic wanted though. They're trying to get down the jump. DDC, but that was slave and turn it back around. Side making the play, but can they get it? Aegis is already there on Pycat. Freeze trying to take down Pycat. That's dead one time. Off to the side. CCNC just punching him though. He kills off Freeze. Another vacuum onto PPD. Yang trying to kill these guys off as Pycat forced to force sap away from them. CCNC looking to take down Sylar maybe, but he's isolated as well by Fade. They're chasing him down, and they might be able to get this kill. Chase continues, right clicks coming in, and almost dies. They've got a shrine. He fogs him. He fogs it, but it's not enough. They're still going to kill the Thunder comes out, and Pycat also in trouble as VGJ.Thunder have found a way back into this game. He ends up surging away Pycat. So he kites away from the Night Stalker and runs back in, but Sylar's there, and now he's in trouble. The reflection's gonna kill him off. He's dying to his own poison.
Oh no, the vacuum. They find the kill in the end, and disaster doesn't begin to describe it.
That was a clusterfuck in the Roshan. What on earth happened there? There was just so much craziness with how some of the spells were used. Absolute madness. Buybacks aplenty as well, and VGJ.Thunder, the ones who somehow come out on top. Luckily for OpTic, that Aegis was on the ground for a good 4 seconds, I feel. I'm just like, who is going to get this? Someone please! And Pycat ends up with it, so at least gets denied from VGJ.Thunder's hands. I don't know where the cheese ends up or was used. It was just absolute madness, and for Thunder, it shows them how to get back in this game. You know, you don't have lockdown, well, you make up for that by having this super farm Terrorblade and Metamorph BKB, who can also be Surge.
Well, they do have eyes now onto this Night Stalker, and he did buy back in that last fight. So he goes down, 60 seconds on the sideline. But again, OpTic Gaming, you were in such firm control of this, and now look at the Terrablade's net worth. He's 3,000 ahead of CC&C.
One of those rare times where Vision kind of misleads you into a sense of security. They felt like, you know, Thunder just smoked at us. Surely they don't have another smoke, and if they do, we're going to pop it. I think someone really needed to be closer to the ward on that high ground by the Radiant Ancients, because then they can pop the smoke and then just back off. Someone like a Venomancer who has a Hurricane Pike, he's a good hero to pop a smoke and then get back to safety, particularly when Lion has no blink. He does have one now after that fight, but we saw in the mid lane, you know, they smoke into the SF. SF just is going to get away because he just walks away with BKB. Until Lion has a blink, they don't have a way to insta kind of disable someone.
Yeah. Well, and now you also see, like, they're trying to keep these lanes pushed out. If you're OpTic, are you starting to feel a little bit of anxiety about the way that this game is going?
You are feeling the heat from Silas Terrorblade. He's going to look pretty scary. When they click him, next time they see him and see this butterfly, it's going to be like, man, do we actually beat a Terrorblade late game? You know, we have this Venomancer. This is not a hero that they have drafted to really scale as a late game carry. He's got Hurricane Pike, Pipe, and now a Lotus Orb queued up to try and help deal with some things like the Sunder. And we're not going to see this Veno act very effectively as a TB counter the more this game goes on. Shadow Fiend is going right click, which, you know, as far as the builds you can go, the magic versus the physical damage, the magic is slightly better as far as like a head-to-head matchup versus TB, just because you can kite around, you've got the Blink Hex on such a short cooldown, you can kind of blow them up with your spells, so I don't think SF will be able to ever win a right-click battle against a TB, assuming TB has Metamorphosis.
Right, and maybe that's where you can sort of look to your other components of OpTic with the Zai on the Earthshaker or something, but again, it's all predicated upon vision, and that's what VGJ.Thunder really excels at with the Night Stalker.
That's a good point. You know, the supporting cast of OpTic feels like they offer a lot more as this game drags on. Shaker particularly, but even Rubik is a great hero as this game drags. Night Stalker, not so great. He's a vision hero, but that's really all he is a vision hero. The silence is not really something you can rely on too much when there's BKBs, Lotus Orbs on the playing fields, Guardian Greaves, and Underlord. Lion has a blink, but he's very squishy. He's kind of like a one and done. He blinks in, he disables someone finger. You better hope they die, because after that, you're dying and you're not offering much more in the team fight. So I think across the supports, OpTic will scale better, but on the cores, TB is the king of the late game here.
Earthshaker has an Aether Lens queued up. Kind of an interesting one.
Yep.
After the Shadow Blade and the Force Staff.
Yeah, I agree. An interesting one. Not sure if that's a... I think he wants A on dis. I want to say it's a typo. He typed his AE in and then clicked the wrong one, but who knows? I'm a fan of A on dis this game, so you don't get blown up, but Aether Lens on Shaker.
At like longer initiation range, I guess? Like you could blink further?
Yeah. See what he does. I don't know. Can theory craft if and when he actually buys it, which feeling like he won't, but
fair
who knows?
Well,
Shadow Raise damage, even on the right click. This is like one of those games, you're going to go all in on the right click, you may have considered the evasion.
Right.
Against the Terrorblade. Not going to be the case. 20% just doesn't feel like enough evasion. If it was like 25 or 30, you'd be like, okay. That Shadow Raise damage is just so good.
Yeah, it's unbelievable and clears through those illusions so quickly. We did have the Guardian Greaves completed now for the Darkseer as well, so both of the Underlords in this game working to maximum efficiency. Yeah. Zai getting set up there, wants to push out the creep wave, but after that Roche fight, no Aegis on anybody. It's looking like it's sort of just going to be a wait until that comes back up again before we make something happen.
Yes, doesn't seem like either team's in any big rush. We are going into that big late game. Crimson Guard for Underlord. I feel like this may be an item he's wishing he had earlier for some of those big fights. The Greaves is nice and all, but there's nothing major you need to purge off. I think the Crimson Guard was the more important item, even more important than the mech, so that may have cost OG a bit of ground this game and allowed Thunder ways back into this game with the right-click damage coming out from TB and Razor.
Got eyes here onto DDC, the blink, or rather onto PPD. DDC gonna help to take him down. Sylar the one that gets the kill, and nighttime, time for VGJ.Thunder to put the hurt here onto OG.
Things like, I'm doing some warden now. The Darkseer going behind enemy lines. Creep wave comes out and sees him. Yeah, Sylar's just gonna clear it out. Fade goes charging forward.
Yeah, they are looking in here, and well, Pycat in the area is being stalked.
I was about to say, you've got to be very careful with his positioning. He's going to be the one TPing back to kind of defend, because VGJ are knocking on OpTic's base.
Yeah, up here on the high ground. They're starting to send out the wards, but it looks like already away. VGJ.Thunder want to just farm out the map. They're comfortable taking this later, it seems.
Yeah, I think rightfully so. The Terrorblade is going to continue to scale very well. Razor's going to act as a great damage sponge in the front lines, who can not only soak up a lot of damage with the Shivers that's queued up at a BKB, but also take away from OpTic's damage output with the Static Link. We've seen several fights in a row where he gets his Static Link on CCNC's SF and just BKBs, chases him down. You're not killing the SF, but you're preventing him from right-clicking you.
Definitely. And as the game goes on and on, those BKB charges start to wear down.
Yep.
Comes an issue. AoE Surge for the Darkseer. All right, level 20 talents.
That's that the Venom counter. You know, he slows all of you while you speed up your entire team, says Yang. Is quite talent to see come into play.
Definitely cool. And in comparison to that 15% CDR, Zai, though,
him out.
He sees heroes in the area. They're looking for that opening as over by the shrine. They're walking onto the low ground. But it looks like OpTic not willing to take that risk yet without the rest of the team in the area. So they're not going to jump on these heroes. Instead, it's going to be VGJ.Thunder who farm out the other side of the map now. They're waiting on high ground.
Yeah, they want to perhaps find a way into OpTic's lineup here.
Shadow-bladed Zai, still hiding. They walk forward. AoE Surge all the way on them. There's going to be the vacuum wall onto 3 of them. CCNC pops out his ultimate already, and they're trying to Dark Rift out, but 3-3 might end up falling. He does manage to escape. They only lose PPD for that.
Both teams committing BKBs and staying alive. Just the SF BKB on the Dire side. V1 on the Radiant side.
And they want to get something with this Metamorphosis as well, so a Fissure comes out to try and slow the siege that's coming. A Firestorm as well. Sylar going to be rooted. They have buyback on PPD if they need it, but obviously would rather not use that vacuum. Again, the turnaround, the Impale, it's there, onto 3 of them. They're going to back out again. Okay, the turnaround, Yang, he's still up in the midst of them. They get the Venom ulti. There's the, could be a dead SF actually, and Terrorblade's starting to fall in low. He comes out, no, he gets the Sunder off. High Cat turned around upon, they take him down as well. VGJ.Thunder just all over it. Easy trying to TP out. He ends up falling. Have they gone too far? They buy back on the Venom as well.
Being killed by the Shaker though.
Oh god, they find that kill and freeze, trying to run away. Zai chasing as well. They've got that Shadow Blade. Does have Blink off cooldown in 2 seconds. Fissure off cooldown in 3. The chase is there. And the Force Staff tries to get him. The Fissure blocks. He could just turn and kill him.
Here. Yeah, I was about to say the Rubik's so far away, and Zai, luckily for him, has backup just in time. What a crazy fight there. I don't even know if the Venom needs to buy back, but it was definitely a safer play to make with Roshan respawning soon. They feel like they have to make sure they win that fight. Meta's going to be down. TB doesn't have buyback, not that he'd necessarily want to use it. And the overcommitment from VGJ there. Even getting off the Sunder there. They didn't have BKBs. The Terrorblade gets Sunder out, but then he's still dying to all the poison damage from the Venom. The Shaker then stuns him under the tower. And OpTic win the fight and will secure a 3rd Roche, which means Pressure Shard, Aegis, and Cheese.
It felt so good when that Shadow Fiend went down. I thought that it was actually going to end up working out for them, but as you said, a little bit overcommitment, and well, Zai, again, Shadow Bladed. They don't have a ward there, but they are going to actually have one, and they get Vision. Quick Fissure, and then the back out. PPD has Hex, Shadow Fiend has Aegis. It's time to do something.
That's a level 4 Hex he's stolen. Doesn't have a Blink Dagger, but has one queued up. SF with Aegis. That is got to be a sigh of relief for OpTic, who probably felt like they had controlled the game for the first 25-30 minutes. Then they kind of lost their grip on it at that one Roshan fight, only to now regain something. They can kind of reset, feel a bit more composed, and be like, okay, we've got this Aegis and Cheese and Refresher. Let's make something out of it.
Definitely.
Will be a Shaker Refresher to double Echo Slam potential in the upcoming team fight. Man, Yang's Darkseer has been fantastic though. These vacuums, the first vacuum wall to start the fight, catching 4 heroes, and then the follow-up one when they went high ground to help kill the SF, which was fantastic.
And the teamwork as well, paired together with the DDC, the Impale coming out right at the same time. Obviously what you would expect out of these venerated players.
Venom gets level 20, which is pretty big, considering the BKBs in this game, the extra poison over duration, gonna guarantee that, kind of like what we saw last game when TB's BKB is down, or when it wears off, he can do a lot of damage to this Terrorblade over time.
Again, this refresher shard on the Earthshaker has the potential to almost just end the game as...
They saw the ward planet.
Yeah.
Sentry there already.
You're right as they go for it, so it will be taken out. Not even going to send in heroes to deal with it, just let the range creep take it out.
Interesting pickup from Freeze, went for the Ags over the Shiver's Guard, perhaps just feeling like there's not really all that much physical damage with the Venomancer. Wants some extra building siege. I think for VGJ, they started feeling the game swing back their way. They knew the high ground push was going to be coming. They wanted to just look to kind of count their chickens a bit too early, as Freeze not going to be able to get that high ground siege. It's VGJ once again on the back foot themselves.
So he did go for the Aether Lens on the Earthshaker.
Extra cast range on Blink, 4-star Fissure. I think it affects your Totem or your Echo Slam at all, at least as far as I know.
It doesn't give spell amplification anymore, right?
No.
Yeah, that was changed in the other patch.
Decent chunk of mana regen, but
yeah.
It does affect your items as well as your targeted spells.
Maybe it's one of those things too where you sort of have that buildup of an idea of how long the initiation range is as an Earthshaker, and that sort of gets broken a little bit by the Aether Lens. Jump in when VGJ.Thunder aren't thinking that he's capable of it. But regardless, VGJ now attempt to regain some composure, but I would imagine they just need to wait until the Aegis has expired before they go for another initiation.
Yeah, they're in no rush. The Aegis is definitely a deterrent to try and start or take a fight. They've lost a bit of map control. They are playing together, perhaps waiting for someone in OpTic to walk into them. Informing to them they want to be getting the jump if possible in these fights. An Aeon Disc on Venomancer is going to make it a bit trickier. He's not really an ideal hero to now jump, otherwise perhaps waste your initiation.
They do have the Hex at least, so he's not going to... Like, they're not going to be able to dispel off that if they can chain together the stuns perfectly. There's maybe a chance. But definitely a lot more difficult. Razor, 22 as well. You mentioned that Aghanim Scepter. He also went for the reduction in the interval, I believe, with his talent.
Yes.
Go for me.
So that, yeah, that nice little soon boost up the ulti in multiple ways. We get the armor talent again, feeling like this is a very magic-based OpTic draft. Rightfully so, the Venomancer not getting any right-click items this game. Just the Shadow Fiend, who is going kind of very heavily into the physical damage direction, as MKB as well as the Daedalus queued up. Level 23. Curious to see if he gets cooldown reduction or damage per soul. Even with the right-click damage build, it still often see cooldown reduction because it does affect your BKB, your Pike,
Definitely.
your Requiem, your items as well, which is something that you rely on to right-click BKB.
Well, OpTic, again, looking for their opening. They throw out one Fissure, and Silence is there onto the SF. They don't want to pop BKB, obviously, if they don't have to.
It's a small opening, though. Only 30 seconds on this Aegis. You're going to be very careful how they play around that.
Scary stuff. EDC finds the stun. They're able to get the Force Staff away. CCC changing the position first, and now they turn and go for the vacuum wall. They don't hit onto the wall, though, and CCC starting to drop so quickly. He is going to end up popping that Aegis. I can go for another form of initiation here if he wants to in 1 second. As no, he ended up getting it broken, but they do get out with everybody.
Yeah, he timed it so he didn't leave CCNC behind. I saw him start channeling that. I'm like, okay, I think he's fine. He's good. He's gonna get CCNC. Won't leave him behind. And OpTic play it safe. They get absolutely nothing done though. That tier 3 tower had already been claimed. At the same time though, that Aegis was expiring. I think it was just like, let's see if this can work. Let's see if we can actually break the base. Metamorphosis does go on cooldown. I feel like that's actually the big timing that both teams can play around. OpTic are a little bit less cooldown dependent. The BKBs are important, but they instantly smoke up as a team. I think looking to capitalize on meta being down, that's actually VGJ's biggest weakness here. They are very reliant on Terrorblade to dish out damage in these team fights.
And it looked like they had every intention of just getting CCNC dead in that one, definitely. And now this play, what can they get done with it? As OpTic looking for an opening mid lane, there is a Darkseer there. They break it, they find him right at the start. There's going to be the Fissure to follow. The right click's coming through. He's dead and a gem.
Bad take as they go chasing for more, but looks like DDC should be home free with a Blink Dagger. And Ditter chipping at the high ground here, 70 seconds without Metamorph.
But they also don't have Dark Grift. This is a little bit scary.
Good point, 30 seconds on that one. I think the chances are of VGJ jumping in for a full commitment is fairly low until they have meta. VGJ are just going to be looking to stall and spam you away. Does feel like they can. 17 seconds now on the Dark Rift.
We also have the Thunder cooldown for Sylar, so I might get multiples of those off in the fight as the silence is there, the fissure as well. They're still waiting to be used. They're bringing down that Underlord very quickly. They pop the Venom ulti as well, and that's going to be a dead Night Stalker, but they buy back on both of them. Vacuum Wall onto Ford, slowed up. CCNC pops the ulti. They do go for the Dark Rift now, but it's going to be too late. 3-3 is dead, and now they need to run. Freeze looking to chase this down. The Excellent Slam to turn it, but they get the Hex after the fact. They weren't able to lock down DDC in time. Yang turned around upon as well. CCNC trying to bring these guys down, but I don't think he has enough damage. They're gonna chase, they're gonna try and find this kill, the secondary Echo Slam, but Psy is still dead. CCNC see if he can find the kill, and they do take down Sylar, but it's everybody dead on OpTic.
What a fight coming out. No Metamorph, no problem, say VGJ.Thunder. They somehow team wipe OpTic. No racks taken. OpTic really trying to force it there, going for the high ground push. No creep wave or anything. They just wanted to make it happen. It did cost VGJ.Thunder 2 buybacks. Definitely worth it considering the outcome of that one, and OpTic really getting hit hard. CCNC preemptively buyback knowing that push is coming their way and someone has to be alive to defend. He just wants to start ticking away at that buyback cooldown. So the sooner he buys back, the sooner he reset that buyback. But he may not be the only one that needs to buy back here. He is the lone defender against a Metamorph TB, should TB find a way back into this fight. But luckily for him, TB still in the sidelines for 50 seconds, so it's going to be just the Razor, but that's a Razor with an axe. Thing away, and they...
He hits it so quickly. It's a full lane of barracks down right here as they're going to surge, and do they decide to go for more?
Looked like it with the Eye of the Storm perhaps wearing off and the respawns coming in. That's where they get a little antsy out of it. Definitely a scenario where maybe CCNC actually jumped the gun. If you're not going to defend that Rax, the buyback perhaps unnecessary there. He may have thought that his team were going to at least buy back one more person. I think one more buyback would have been enough to save the Rax, but OpTic fighting to preserve much on late game buybacks.
And this is actually something else. A refresher is the next item for the Razor. So double Eye of the Storm.
Yeah, this is the sieging teamfight build. When you're being controlled a lot, it's also a lot of damage that you can do without having to right click.
And you can see right there in the replay as well. DDC, well, now he's actually going to get caught as they just blow him up. One crit and he is dead. Vacuum Wall pulls it back into 2. Yule Scepter lift up to try and get PPD away, but it's not going to happen.
They have to run. TB use meta. Anytime they see that meta pop out, they cannot stand their ground. There's just no real armor on their side. The Shiver's Guard on the Underlord, he can kind of survive against the TB, but even only for so long. The rest of his team, nuh-uh. SF is just paper against that Terrorblade when he's being right-clicked down. Doesn't have evasion, doesn't have armor, and that's something that we be very, very aware of. But OpTic can now try and take advantage of meta being used. It really feels like a game where Thunder want to get a refresher, or at least a refresher shot on Sylar's TB because of how reliant they are on his metamorphosis.
Well, and I mean, it's also a kind of unique little build because it's got the double heroes that are really good at being able to take towers with the Razor going that Ags build as well. But they need to make sure that they have it up to win the fight at the very least. So VGJ checking out the Roche Pit, capable to respawn at this point, but it's a little bit of a long respawn time yet again.
That's good news for VGJ. If it respawned right now, it would be OpTic perhaps already in the pit starting, and they put down the Plague Ward to scout. 50 seconds though, so there's going to be about a 30-second window where there's no Metamorph and Roche's respawn. We'll see what OpTic can look to claim.
We're taking a look at this fissure range right now. At the level 20
insane
talent, it is kind of ridiculous.
That would be Aether Lens.
VGJ again all together in the mid lane. They jump forward, trying to get the Hex off right at the start. The Vacuum Wall, it's on to 3, focusing them back. They are going to get out of Fissure though to try and separate this fight a little bit. Then ulti out as well. That is going to be Sylar still jumping for more, but they do escape. And Freeze, his BKB going to wear out soon. I think they need it back.
TB can't really get in and do too much damage. He can be a reflection spammer. He can also be a bit of a tank now with the short cooldown on Thunder. 5-second cooldown on that really allows him to soak up a lot of damage, but you just be careful not to get chain disabled by someone like an Earthshaker.
And Roche is going to be back up now, so OpTic.
Yes. Are they going in though? TB's Metamorph getting closer and closer. I'm not sure how accurately OpTic know of the cooldown. It looks like they know it well enough because they are in the pit and they are looking to take Roche for themselves.
VGJ.Thunder, they have a lot of blink daggers to get in and try and mess with this. The smoke up, it looks like they want to try and take this fight. He gets a refresher right now, in fact, and thinking about walking forward. There's Ruben controlled the jump forward, though. Yang able to get it, but CCNC has the Aegis, and now the turnaround. They have the root down. That's going to be a dead Darkseer. 100 seconds on the sidelines. No buyback, and now looking for more. They're going to try and force them away and get Freeze out of there. The Echo Slam it connects, but again, DDC able to play the interrupt game. They have to lift up this Lion in trouble, and if they lose too many heroes here, VGJ.Thunder are in a ton of trouble.
The Razor was in trouble. They don't realize that he was above them without a TP and slowed down by a Gale. Luckily, VGJ.Thunder, they could have lost more, but what a great Roshan fight, taking advantage of that small window where there was no Metamorph. Sylar's refresher, he has it now. He's got double meta, but feels like he really needs to go all in and buy that for that Roche fight. Giving OpTic Roche and then buying this refresher just seems like a little bit too late to have this. With that said, we've seen VGJ.Thunder defend their high ground time after time, so I don't necessarily think OpTic is suddenly in the driver's seat here because of the Aegis, but it definitely, denying it from VGJ.Thunder has kept them alive.
And Earthshaker not with them right now in this fight as they get the Impale onto 2. CCNC drop in rather rapidly, and they're going to Dark Rift away as no longer want to be in this world.
Now piecing out, Freeze will get brought very low from the Poison Nova.
30 seconds until Darkseer is back up again. Looks like OpTic did not want to try and force out that buyback. Probably a wise decision.
Yep. Probably the call here, as we'll see what the play is going to be. SF did get the damage per soul. The full-on right-click build. Going to all in on it, not getting the cooldown reduction for his BKB and his items. Butterfly in his backpack just doesn't have room for all of his items right now. Perhaps should replace his SMY, but he'll have the Aegis and be able to slot something in.
Does have that DD now as well.
Yep.
He is big, bad, and out of control.
So hard for them to break this game open. They need that big kill on a TB or a Raisin to force a buyback. And if you kill a TB when he's in meta, he's not going to have that meta theoretically in second life, but the refresher is now going to make up for that. So Sylar, his second life is truly a second life. Meta used and theoretically down. OpTic, I think, are trying to group up and push, but Sylar will pop the refresher the second smells like a fight may happen. Ideally holds on to it and doesn't have to, though. That's why he's in his inventory right now, not being used.
Of course, you can go for a big initiation, but they need to be careful. Top lane is still pushing in. So they kind of have a timer on how far they can make this push continue.
Yeah.
And it's like OpTic towards the mid lane, looking to test the waters with CCNC's Aegis.
They scouted Sylar's refresh if they've been clicking him, so they definitely know a refresh could come into play for TB, and that meta is thing to worry about.
That is a long old fissure. CNC again walking forward, chunking through this tower. He does a lot of damage with that plus soul damage per soul.
Feels like they really want to force Sylar to use his refresher here so they can back off. It's very much the game plan. When we have Dark Rift, force meta, and then Dark Rift away. We're seeing it time and time again.
Jump forward. For the vacuum wall onto 3 with the stun. They're trying to turn this. Can they do it though? The freeze jump is working pretty well. 3-3-3 is dead. The Dark Rift isn't going to work. CCNC is going to drop. Can they turn this back around? It's a long duration silence right now onto Zion. Looking to jump in and save their Shadow Fiend to force Staff to push him away. The fissure is going to come out, and that forces Sylar on the wrong side of it. They might be able to get out now with that. That was sure to be a dead CCNC.
He got forced up by his teammate as well. That was so close to a kill. They're not done though. They still want to chase.
DDC looking, not able to find it quite yet. Gang, they got the Hex there as well. They're all hexed, and the Fissure's saving the day as they're trying to chase. PPD also running out of there. They don't have buyback on this Underlord as well as Pycat tries to run away. Zai is still invis here, and they get sight of him. There's the blink out.
But a Fissure get hit.
I think he popped his refresher shard for that.
He did. It was like 20-25 seconds before meta came up. He wanted to just fight now. Darkseer saw an opening and just jumped in. And it was the right call from VGJ.Thunder. They were so close to killing the SF a second time. But now they have no meta for 90 seconds. The refresher used as well, so that's on cooldown. And VGJ.Thunder really need to win that fight convincingly to justify using that refresher, because otherwise they put themselves in a slightly vulnerable position. Good news for them is that this top lane has continued to just push out. It took a tier 4 tower off its both.
The other one's almost gone as well.
It's what you mentioned before the fight. It feels like OpTic, you know, if they want to go, they need to go soon, because otherwise top lane's going to push in. Well, they didn't go that soon, and then VGJ forced to fight, so some structural damage being dealt there. Not that it's too game decisive right now, but those tier 4 towers definitely can theoretically count later on in a scenario where VGJ finds himself in the base going for the throne.
You talked about itemization before. It definitely feels like right now OpTic need an Aeon disc on that Underlord. He dies too quickly, even with everything else going on in this game.
Yeah, it's some way to guarantee his survival and Dark Rift out. When they jump right on top of him, Razor just double ultied and started wailing away on him as well. They just threw everything at Underlord, knowing that he cannot Dark Rift his team away. Otherwise, the Metamorph has been wasted. So they guaranteed that they take him out. On paper, that leads to VGJ.Thunder cleaning up there, but some great defensive plays from Zai's Earthshaker. Those two fissures, as well as I believe his force stuff on SF, it wasn't his, it was maybe Veno's, guaranteeing Quinn's survival, and if not for that, I feel like this game would be in a much more desperate position for OpTic. They'd be forced to use several buybacks to stay alive.
And maybe a game-winning ward placed down by DDC up on the high ground there.
Oh yeah, that's a good one to have.
Could be real bad for OpTic if they're not careful, as VGJ.Thunder looking again to something happen here. Yang is going to group up with the rest of his team. And do they decide to pressure themselves at this point?
Want to wait, perhaps even for the refresh. He's put in his inventory just to help it cool down a bit faster. No Roche for at least a minute 40.
Sylar did just pick up an Arcane Rune.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice to have. The nice thing when you're pushing is that, you know, there's no Dark Rifting away from a fight that's at OpTic space. You have to hold your ground and defend or you lose your rack. So that's where that Dark Rift is nowhere near as effective of a survival tool when you're defending.
Dagon was also the pickup for the Venomancer.
Damage, trying to make sure you can kill a TB or whoever. They feel like these BKBs are all down to 5 seconds on the Radiant side. Yep, Razor and TB.
DDC really feels like he's just been playing out of his mind this game. How many times has he interrupted the Earthshaker?
Yeah.
Like those couple of fights where he like took the damage from the Echo Slam, but didn't end up getting stunned as well and was still able to interrupt it.
He has been very, very on point with his Lion, getting clutch hexes, and that continues to be the case. The other nice thing about the Dagon, which is a very forgotten new element of the item, is it does instantly KO illusions, so you know, one-shot these TB illusions, which are pretty annoying at times. Here at Venu, you're just like, I can't right-click this down. It's too tanky for me. It's Dagon them. Level 5 Dagon will have a very short cooldown as well.
We got the parallel wall coming out from Mr. Darkseer.
Wow. I mean, wall was buffed in the patch to have a 1300 length, I believe, instead of 1000. So taking advantage of those Darkseer.
Good thing to do. He's going to be going for a heart next, it looks like. Just stick around. Not have to head back to base for regen. Well, of course, getting the magic resistance from it now. You get Mr. Darkseer. But only a 9,000 gold lead as we are about to eclipse the hour mark, and OpTic held inside their base by VGJ.Thunder.
Yep. Go here. Darkseer has been just so good at setting up these team fights. It was...
There's the Hex, the opening. They're chasing this guy down a little bit, but Zai is there to try and interrupt the fun. They find a right click there. The long duration route coming in from 3-3. The right clicks, my god! Yang is just done, and 3-3 also might be done soon. He does get the force staff away, trying to stay alive. Sylar with the Metamorphosis and the DD just rips him to shreds, but CCNC looking like he wants to try and take that fight. Zai, no, the BKB came out with the refresher. Sylar able to make that work for him, and CCNC trying to run and to buy back on two separate heroes, and now the Venom ulti. They've caught Fade, going to start to take him down low. Gem on the ground as well, as Zai manages to find one stun. Can he get a second? The Hex, the turnaround, they take it down, a triple kill for Sylar. Zai is dead for 100 seconds. They need to buy back on the Venom to make this work. An ultra kill for Sylar, as he's taking down 3-3. Rampage #1, the stun. Can he get out of there? He's not stunned. Oh no! There's nobody in range, and in fact, though, the Ancient, OpTic's Ancient is starting to fall. CCNC, he gets there in time. Oh, that was close.
Ooh. That's one of those, like, if you see that in your TB, you have boots travel, you're like, we've won the game, but not to be as a crazy team fight breaks loose there. Who wins it? I don't know. You know, OpTic had to go for a lot of buybacks there. It feels like if VGJ do not get forced to buyback here, definitely a VGJ win. I mean, you can see in the gold lead there, they're getting further and further ahead. They will buy back, though. The TB buyback going on cooldown.
They want to contest for Roche, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, of course. And they still have meta. He refreshed the BKB, but he did not use his second metamorphosis. So a meta TB, definitely thing to be afraid of. And yeah, they are all in towards that Roche pit, knowing that buybackless heroes securing an Aegis would be huge for OpTic. And they only had 3. The dieback from Underlord means he is not there, and this Roche is a free Roche for VGJ, considering they're about to be in a 5v3 scenario.
And they'll have a nice timing here before Underlord and the Earthshaker get back online. And, well, do they just run down the lane? Can they pop BKBs and just hit the Ancient at this point? Like, what?
No, they probably can, Lyrical. It's a double BKB, Metamorphosis, TB. He could theoretically just go for the throne. This is where taking all that damage on the tier 4s could be costly if VGJ want to say, forget the team fight, you know, Night Stalker, run in, distract heroes, Darkseer, go try Vacuum him, do whatever you do, Darkseer. This TB is going to hit the throne. Axe Refresher AC on Razor. That throne is just going to melt. I don't even think they have to. They can ignore heroes here with their BKB.
And CCNC going to start off right away with the ultimate. They know what's coming. The call came from DDC as the chase is there. The vacuum, the wall, parallel wall. It's a little bit slow to get through that one. CCNC is dead. They're going to pop the cliff. Actually, CCNC does live, but this throne might not for that much longer. VGJ.Thunder, smelling blood, and they know what GG is called.
It really mattered, and OpTic in the driver's seat throughout the early game. They had full control over the first Roshan and of the entire map, taking advantage of VGJ.Thunder's draft, lacking initiation,